Well, yeah, so you were, let's see, you were born in 1935. And then your mom passed away like a year and a half, 2 years after that.
Yeah.
So you really never knew her.
No,
And
you were 46, I think. You were born in 46.
that's right. I was the product, if you trace back from where I was born May 1st, 1946, you go back exactly 9 months was Victory in Japan Day. So I'm a product of that celebration. Mom and Dad maybe didn't get along, but they got along that day.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Julia ever got along with anybody.
No. No,
I could never figure out people like her.
Yeah. So now where were you born? In Elroy area?
Yeah.
Okay. And so do you have many memories then of
I have some memories, but we moved when I was 9,
okay.
so I don't have a whole lot of memories. But moved to Racine, and that was because Dad wanted to get into the war industry.
He did. Okay. Did he go right to Racine or Chicago?
Racine.
Racine. Okay.
Went to Racine, got a job at J.I. Case,
Okay.
and then we all moved down there. And then he got into construction too, you know, which was his big thing. And later on, of course, he had his construction company, and I don't think he made a lot of money, but it was a time to make money, but he wasn't making that much money.
Okay.
He wasn't that big, you know. Dad never wanted to go whole hog, you know, build a corporation and, you know, have a lot of people and all that kind of stuff. So it never really took off.
Mm-hmm.
And well, of course, at that age, I could care less. I didn't care, you know. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, because you were just a kid.
Yeah, I was just a kid.
Okay.
And,
So at that time, you were when he moved to Racine, was that right after the war started? Yeah. So you were only 6, 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was married then to my mother by then, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And
I don't remember him being married to anybody else.
yeah, well, you wouldn't have being born, 2 years before your mom died, Yeah, that would be unlikely. So, okay, so he was then working at J.I. Case, and where did you go to school?
Where did I go to school?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I went to Park, you know, but got out of Park in '53, and then I went into the Army a couple of years to get the GI Bill,
Okay.
so I could go to school.
Where'd you go to grade school?
Winslow.
Okay, I went to Winslow. I only went kindergarten and St. Mary's.
It's not a bad school either.
No. So that's when they were living on Main Street?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So about when did Dad go into the contracting or construction business?
Why did he?
No, about when did he?
Oh, it was after the war, but he never did it on a big time basis. It was always small time, and he was at the right place at the right time, but he didn't take advantage of it, you know.
Okay,
And the unfortunate thing about it was that he kind of lost the time, you know.
Well, what did he do at J.I. Case? Just assembly or
Well, he worked at J.I. Case during the war.
during the war?
Because we moved to Racine in '43,
Mm-hmm.
and he started working at J.I.K. So jobs were plentiful, you know. And I don't know how long he worked there,
Mm-hmm.
but he worked there until he got back into construction.
How did he learn his trade as far as bricklayer or carpentry, and how did he learn that trade?
Good question, because he was in the right place at the right time. And he could have made a fortune, but I don't know if anybody in our family ever picked up on the money they could have made. And Dad didn't either.
Well, he wanted Bob and you to go into that trade.
Yeah, and we didn't want to do it.
And by the time I came along, in the 50s, late 50s, he didn't give a shit about wanting to teach me anything, because you and Bob didn't do it.
Yeah. No, we went to school, which I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but you can't make a lot of money from school. And that was really the problem. We didn't have any entrepreneurial spirit. Like, Dad knew how to make money, but he wouldn't do it. And he couldn't do it. Because I guess he was scared or something, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But not much I could say to him.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, Jim.
And so he then knew George, of course, because George married, his oldest, Dorothy. And so George went into business with him too, right?
Yeah, but George was a very poor businessman. And I think he was afraid of starting anything for fear of being washed out and an outcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so he never made much of anything. He could talk about, this and that and the other thing. He was always talking big about things, but he never did anything big.
Mm.
And the reason he was just afraid, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he and Dad could drink pretty well, though.
What?
He and Dad could drink well. They were both.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they'd be out drinking all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never understood it, but well, Dad wasn't an alcoholic, but they drank a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how they got away with it. But
I think he liked having the boarding house, because there were all those veterans and displaced people, that came, needed. There wasn't housing was tough, but all the boarders were a good mix for him to talk to.
sure.
And do you remember anything from the boarding house?
Well, I remember it was probably pretty lucrative for him,
Mm-hmm.
because he was getting all this money from the boarding house,
Yeah.
and he really didn't have to work too hard. And he kind of did his thing, never said much. But
Do you remember the boarding house on Racine on Main Street?
oh yeah, sure. And to me, it was just, he made money on it, and I was ashamed of it because I felt it was cast us in a poor light,
Uh-huh.
But it really was a pretty good business.
Uh-huh.
And
Now, did they provide like 3 meals a day?
it was what?
Did they provide 3 meals a day for the boarders? Like they pack a lunch for the workers, and
Oh, they had provided the whole works.
they did.
Yep. They had lunch, supper, dinner, the whole bit. Yep. Julia did that. And they made money.
Yeah. Where were you in on Main Street? Did you have your own room, or did you share a room with your brother? Or
Yeah, well, I was just one of the screwballs that could never do anything right, because I knew if I did something right, they'd want me to do more. So I would just screw up everything. That's all I ever did.
Ca- Carol told me once a story about you, where whenever they were having company and no room, so you had to sleep, I don't know, in like the living room area or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had what they call a French door, you know, where the top half opened separate from the bottom half, and it had a big opening to clear a rug or something like that. And somewhere in the middle of the night, Carol said, "You gotta go to the bathroom." And in your sleepiness, your feet went under the door and you banged into it and fell backwards, still with your feet under the door. And you started screaming, and Carol ran in, and she said she couldn't help you because she was laughing so hard.
Everybody was. Everybody was laughing about that.
Yeah. Carol had a lot of funny stories, you know, about,
Yeah.
you know, and of course with my mother, they weren't always that funny, but she had, you know, she had some, Carol was always funny. Okay, so so did you ever work in Racine besides going to school at Park and, Park High School? Do you have jobs?
Well, I had a job at let's see, what's the name of that company in Racine? Hamilton Beach.
Hamilton Beach, okay.
Yep. That's when I had a job at. And I forget how long that lasted. Not more than a year. Went into service, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was okay, you know. It was not a big job or anything, you know. And at that time, I was didn't know much anyhow.
You knew it wasn't for you, though.
Oh no. I mean, you know, first of all, they didn't pay that much.
Uh-huh.
And second of all, it was piecework, you know.
Yeah. Oh, really? You had to do piecework. Okay.
Yeah. And third of all, it just wasn't anything that you really want to stick your career into, you know. So I was always looking to get into school, you know, and do something else.
Right.
And that's when I got into the University of Wisconsin, you know, and
Sure.
went on from there.
What did you do in the Army? Did you have any specialty or anything, or?
Well, basically, I had a good time. The Army is, you know, you got all these guys, you know, they always got these ideas and the other ideas. And I mean, I remember having a hell of a good time because there was always somebody who had a funny idea, you know, that was just crazy, you know, but it was comical.
Where were you stationed?
I was stationed in Philadelphia, mostly, and I was in Fort Leonard Wood.
Where's that? In
Fort Leonard Wood?
Pennsylvania?
That's, no, Missouri.
In Missouri. Okay.
And then Fort Bliss, Texas. And then I went to Fort Meade, Maryland. And then I got put into Philadelphia. And our job in Philadelphia was to protect against Russian bombers coming over. No Russian bombers ever came over.
Okay.
That was beside the point.
Hmm.
So that's what I did. And it was okay, except, you know, it was kind of rinky-dink.
Yeah. So when you got out, then you went to University of Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Okay. In Madison?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I almost went directly there because, well, Racine at the time, there wasn't that much going on. And went into Madison, and of course I started my freshman year. And went through, and then Bob, I think, did the same thing. You know, and then
Before you or at the same time?
about the same time,
Okay.
yeah. And
What did you study primarily?
well, I studied engineering. I don't know what he studied.
What kind of engineering? Mechanical?
Well, I
or?
was, yeah, basically engineering for the first 2 years is all the same. It's
Oh.
all just a basic engineering course for 2 years, and then you branch out into your specialties.
And what was your specialty when you...
My specialty was mining engineering.
Mining engineering, why that?
I guess because I thought I could make money,
Okay.
and it didn't really work out. But no, it's kind of crazy in a way.
Okay. So you went all 4 years or more? Did you go to
4
graduate?
years, yeah.
You did, okay. And so you came out with a mining engineering degree.
Yep.
Then who did you work for?
Then I went to work for FM, Factory Mutual,
You right away. Oh, okay.
within a short time.
Wow. So you spent your whole career with Factory Mutual.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what did they have you doing then when you started?
Well, they hired only engineers. That's all they hired.
Okay.
And I would go out to all these damn plants that they would be insuring. And they wanted us to psych out the problem areas in the plants
Mm-hmm.
and make recommendations to fix them. And it was an interesting job, but it caused a lot of problems.
For who?
Well, I mean, the guys that were running the plants, they didn't like us. Because, you know, first of all, we were costing them money.
Yeah, but you were also insuring them.
Well, we were insuring them and we were doing the right thing, but we were still looked upon as, hey, they recommended a sprinkler system over here, they recommended that over there, fire pumps over here, and all of this stuff costs a lot of money. And they didn't like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they got nailed with some of these big recommendations, it wasn't exactly a joke, you know.
Well, where were you hired to work in what area? Out here in California?
Oh no, I was hired back there.
In Wisconsin? Okay.
Yeah, that was Milwaukee, Racine area, mostly Milwaukee.
So you went to all the different factories then, or because Factory Mutual insured most of the factories, right?
It seemed to me like they insured every other one.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like today. It's hard to find a place that doesn't know about Factory Mutual.
Right.
They don't advertise, they don't need to.
Right.
But if you want to get plant insurance, you either go to them or you go to their competitor, but their competitor is nothing compared to them.
Is that right?
And,
Did they have a training course when you joined?
oh, sure.
So
Yeah, it was 8 weeks. Mm-hmm.
8 weeks. Okay.
They'd send you back to Norwood, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I'd go through the training program. And it was okay, you know, I mean, they rated us and they did this and they did that. I didn't really care, you know, I mean, it's something you had to do.
Sure. So after training, then your territory, as it were, Racine, Milwaukee area,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how long did you stay there?
I was in Milwaukee till 66.
Till 66.
Yep.
So you're there like 10 years.
Not quite 10 years, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, then I got a circular. They were asking for people to come to California.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided, man, this is an opportunity,
Yeah.
you know. That's how I came here. And when I came here, there's nobody here but me, you know, and a few other guys. And it was a wide open territory.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually it filled in and became a huge district, you know.
Right.
But when I first arrived, it was nothing. And
So where did you settle first? Where did they put you, or did you pick a?
well, the first office was in Pasadena.
Okay.
And I would go to the office, but basically you worked out of the office anyhow. But I'd be working all around Southern California, wherever they sent me. And I didn't mind it. It was kind of nice.
Sounds like a lot of driving.
was a lot of driving, but you got paid for it.
Okay.
And,
So this pay better than Hamilton Beach.
oh yeah. Yeah, they did. And not only that, but they didn't give a damn if you padded your bills, you know.
Oh.
I mean, if you took a plant manager at lunch, you know, that was at least $50.
Really? Even then?
In those days, that was big money.
Yes.
And I would do that, you know. And then I'd have to say, well, I took manager so-and-so to lunch, you know, and you know, and that solved it. You know, everybody said, oh, okay, manager so-and-so, well, he's a big shot, you know, so that's what you should have done, you know.
So did they pick up all your expenses for motels and food
Oh, yeah.
and car? But did they get you a car, or do you buy your own car? Or?
Well, I could have gotten a car from them, and I think I did for a while, but basically they picked up your car too.
Okay.
And I just, you know, pretty much did what I wanted. And, you know, money was no object. I mean, they paid well, and they didn't worry about whether or not you were spending money.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty lucrative.
That sounds great. So how long were you in the Pasadena area before you came to Orange County? Or did you go somewhere else in between?
I was in Pasadena for probably close to maybe 5-10 years.
Okay.
And then they wanted to shift their base of operations to Orange County. And that day, in those days, it was Whittier. Because the insurance companies who controlled us, they didn't like us being way up in Pasadena. They wanted us closer. So we went to Whittier so they could visit and tell us what to do and try to influence us to insure all these crappy places they had. And, you know, everybody kind of just went along with it because when the placing company showed up, you know, here comes the placing company guy, and he had a big expense account.
Mm-hmm.
So when he brought us to lunch, you know, the sky's the limit, you know.
Uh-huh.
He didn't care. And
Did you own a house or anything in Pasadena area, or you rented, or what?
well, I owned a house in Whittier,
Oh, you bought a house in Whittier. Okay.
and that was with Ange.
With Angie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were never getting along. We were always fighting about
How did
something.
you meet Angie?
Huh?
How did you meet Angie?
She was in the Catholic Alumni Club,
Okay.
and so I met her there. And what I didn't realize is that, you know, you meet women, and you think, well, it shouldn't be too hard to get along with her. Jesus, what a mistake. You know, I mean, because Angie, she was anything but easy to get along with. You know.
Did she used to be a nun?
Yep,
She had been a nun.
she had been a nun.
Okay.
Yep. And she thought she knew everything. You know.
And she was from the Midwest also, wasn't she?
Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And well, she had a lot of good points, you know, but the bad points just overruled the good points. She was forever fighting about something. No matter what you did, you were in an argument. You know, you couldn't satisfy her. I mean,
How long were you married?
oh, about 5 years, something like that.
So Kathy and I visited you in about 1972 or so. That was kind of in the middle.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we were, you know, we were up and down like a bouncing ball. And
Well, you
Andy-
had that house. Was that house in Whittier?
Yeah, the house in Whittier. Yeah,
Where they
It was
had a
nice
pool.
house, too.
You had a pool and everything.
Pool and the whole bit in the backyard. And,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was really a nice house.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to the house. I suppose it's still there.
In the divorce, did she get the house or?
Yep, she got the house.
Okay.
But Angie was, like I say, you just could not control Angie.
Mm-hmm.
You had no control.
Did she work? Did she have a job?
She had a job, not initially, but eventually she got a job as a school teacher.
Okay.
And very headstrong.
Yeah.
And she just did her thing, her own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I could never reason with Ange.
Mm-hmm.
Ange had her own set of ideas, and you really couldn't say much of anything to her.
Yeah.
And
So anyway, then okay. So eventually, you're in Whittier, and essentially you stayed in Whittier, Anaheim, La Habra area ever since then.
not really. We went pretty much all over the Southland. You know,
The what?
we went practically all over the Southland.
Okay.
And we, you know, I mean, like I say, I had such a hard time with Ange that couldn't put much of anything together.
Right.
You know how some women are; they just.
You had no
Of course,
children.
it
You had no
always seems like
children.
your wife is easy to get along with.
Mine is, yes.
Yeah, but Angie was anything but.
Now you insured, Factory Mutual insured Disneyland too, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they insured everything.
Yeah.
They insured just everything.
Okay.
Yep, and we would visit, you know, and all that. And she was just, well, she was a nice enough girl and everything, and maybe she was just too smart. I don't know.
We really only met her for a couple of days. You know, we stayed at your house, got a picture of you and her sitting on the diving board or something of the pool. And,
Oh yeah.
And then we went to Disneyland with her, and that was our only visit. I think we stayed overnight at your place, at least one night, maybe two. You know.
Yeah, something like that. We had a nice house too.
Yeah, the house was kind of what I always envisioned a California house. It had that real low roof line. You know, as you come in, you could like get a step ladder and get up on your roof. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was raised, you know, like you back east, you know, and like this is kind of funny construction house, you know, this low. And so after the divorce, did you buy another house or did you rent then, or?
Yeah, I did. Well, first of all, I bought a condo, you know, and that was after a year or so, you know. And Angie was, you know, she wanted to go back together again, but I knew it would be just a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
I went back together again with her because you just could not control Angie. She just, she wanted to do what she wanted to do, and she didn't give a damn what you wanted.
So now we're into the 70s. So you're still working every day at Factory Mutual, and how did it come about? You got a law degree. I couldn't believe someone could work a full-time job like you did and get a law degree at the same time.
Well,
I
just went to school at night, you know.
That was amazing to me.
Well, you know, but FM has got a lot of, you know, they had a lot of free time, and I could go off to law school and nobody would pay any attention, you know, and nobody would ask any questions.
You still did your job.
Yeah. And so I just went to law school.
Where did you go to law school?
Western States.
And where's that?
Well, at that time, Western States was in Anaheim.
Okay.
It was a huge law school. Now I think it's, well, come to think, it's still in Anaheim. But at one time it was the biggest private law school in the world. Now I don't know what it is. I haven't been down there in years, but
So how many years did you go to?
4 years.
4 years at night and mostly at night school type. And then after you're done, did you have to pass the bar exam?
Oh, sure.
And you passed the bar exam. Wow. Okay. And what was your specialty in law school?
Well, basically, I didn't really have a specialty, and later on, I looked around. What should I specialize in? But I never really found a good specialty because it was so hard to get a case. You know, I mean, who the hell wants a young lawyer? Nobody. You know. So,
Especially when you work. Yeah, but there's like criminal law and there's contract law and
well, there is
financial law.
Yeah, but you know, for any of those, you got to have an in with the right people.
Uh-huh.
You can't just go out and say, "I'll hang up my shingle here," and somebody will come in with a big case. It doesn't happen.
No.
So, you know, anything I could find is what I did.
So you were essentially just set up on your own out of your house type of thing. Okay.
That's about what I had to do.
So your main thing was law was workers compensation
It
claims?
was workers' comp after everything was said and done.
Did you do much while you were still with Factory Mutual or not too much?
No, I never did. Never did. Although, you know, they were big in workers' comp, but I never really said anything about it
Okay.
because I didn't really want to work for them. And I just, well, I was in workers' comp, and mostly it was just cases. And that's what I did. And that's the way it went.
Okay. So when did you retire from Factory Mutual?
Well, actually, I'm probably still not retired, but more or less, right now, right in this era here, is when I'm in the idea of retiring, and I still haven't decided what the hell I want to do, but I should. But
Well, how did once you were away from Factory Mutual, how did you start to get clients?
well, then, of course, you know, they didn't know anything about it.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, I would just call them on the phone, and they'd call me on the phone. And I'd say, well, why don't you meet me here, there, or everywhere, you know?
But did you advertise for your experience in law? But how would people know about you?
I guess it was just word of mouth.
Like, did the Bar Association have your name out there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They have to have everything.
Okay.
And they had my name, and they had my specialties and all that. But, you know, I didn't really advertise, no.
Okay. So you did workers' comp. What other types of law did you do?
Well, I did PI, personal injury,
Okay.
and I did, well, workers' comp, of course, was in there, but there was other things, you know, I mean, can't even remember them anymore.
Did you like it?
Not really, but it was a living, you know. But, you know, and you do what you gotta do. You know?
Uh-huh.
And I could make a living, and that was the prime goal.
Well, you were drawing a pension then from Factory Mutual, right? No?
They paid shit for a pension.
Really? So, but you must have some deferred compensations or investments or something like that, so.
Yeah, they, you know, they still pay shit for competition. I mean, the insurance companies don't pay it, period.
No.
But, you know, I mean, they're still the same thing, you know. And they always herald themselves as such wonderful people to work for, and I thought they were a bunch of shit. Because I would look at the government, I would say, Jesus, look at these guys working 20, 25 years and have a lifetime pension.
Right.
And I thought to myself, this is ridiculous.
Well, the word always is that generally in government work, you get less money, but your retirement plans are better. In private industry, like insurance, there you're paid better, but your retirement is crappy. So that's kind of the trade-off.
That's right. But government really had much better pension plans.
Right.
FM never had pension plans that ever could touch them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked around for anything I could find, really.
So after Angie and Factory Mutual, so you lived in the Orange County, and then what was some of your main activities? I know you traveled with Ramona.
I lived in Orange County, and she kicked me out when we were in Whittier, and moved over to La Habra, and bought a condo in La Habra, and that's where it's still in.
And I know you traveled with Ramona, but then you were also what? You like to play tennis? You played in tennis clubs and things, or joined tennis clubs or something like that?
Oh, I was always in the tennis clubs, but that was just strictly exercise.
Right.
And in the tennis clubs, it was $50 a year or something like that. And I enjoyed tennis, so I would play tennis, and that would be it. But I'm still in that. But it was just something I enjoyed.
Right. So, and you traveled a lot with I know in the last, couple, 20 years, you traveled with Ramona, you took cruises, right?
Sure did. And traveled a lot back in Wisconsin, too. And it was no fun. It's no fun. I mean, the big benefit is you got this nice expense account. But that's the only benefit.
Yeah.
And they never really questioned anything. So
How long have you owned this condo over here in La Habra off Las Lomas?
I've owned the condo in La Habra for about 30 years already.
Oh, okay. So that was kind of the one you got after Angie. Okay.
Yeah, we had a nice house. The house is probably worth, somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 to $1 million.
Now it's probably even worth more.
Maybe even more, yeah.
Yeah.
3-car garage, swimming pool, and beautiful home.
Yeah, it was nice.
And we bought it for $22,500 or something back in those days. And that would be a joke today. But,
It is. Yeah.
but then Angie, didn't matter what you bought, she was never satisfied.
I see.
And so eventually, when we split up, I don't know what happened to her. I don't know. She went on. And,
Well, let me ask you some questions. I'll start kind of from oldest down. Tell me your thoughts of some of the people. First off, a lot of your memories of your dad, or my dad, your dad, Joe. What do you remember about him?
well, he was, he was a really, Dad was a good man, a very good man, but he liked to drink, and, he liked to enjoy life, and I didn't really care myself, but Julia was always after him on that score, but didn't make any difference to him anyhow. But
Did you go with him on jobs or anything?
oh, I did it all the time, yeah.
Yeah, carrying bricks and.
Oh, yeah. It was a miserable job.
Oh yeah, hot and sweaty. I passed out once working with him.
I don't blame him.
I went.
I didn't like it. Working for him was just misery. It was just, there was no brains to it.
No.
You were just hauling the mud and the bricks and all the other bullshit that they were putting in.
He had that other bad habit. He chewed tobacco. You remember that?
Well, Dad did, yeah.
Dad, that's what I mean. Dad chewed tobacco. That was awful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, side of his truck, was terrible. I mean, it was just,
Yeah, when he spit that stuff out, it was a splat. It's horrible.
oh yeah, he had to have that cuspidor next to his chair, and ugh.
Yep, and he didn't really care.
No, no. And so you went with him on some. So he made you what? Carry the bags of cement and make mortar and carry bricks and all that.
I was just the guy that made all the bullshit that, they didn't want to do.
Uh-huh.
George or Dad or anybody else, they didn't want to mix their own mud.
Right.
They wanted the mud brought to them, and then they would split it up the way they wanted it. And I didn't like the job.
No.
To me, it was boring.
Did he take you to any of the taverns after work or anything?
Sometimes.
Okay.
And just a waste of time, get yourself a glass of pop or something, and he would be at the bar drinking.
Right.
And then maybe 3 hours later we'd leave.
Yeah. You'd shoot pool or play pinball or stuff like that?
Yeah, I never did that.
Oh.
But I could have, but I didn't. No, and I never really enjoyed that much. But I could have done it. But Dad was, well, he could hold his booze, he could drink a lot.
And when he got drunk, he was kind of an angry drunk. I know that I've always said there's three types of drinkers. One that drinks and gets sleepy, one that drinks and gets happy and silly, and a third that drinks and gets angry and tough and mean.
And that's the way he was.
He was more tough and mean, because he and my mother would have lots of arguments and yelling and screaming,
Oh, yeah.
name calling, yeah. But it helped you learn that's not the business you want to be in, huh? Yeah.
No, it wasn't a nice situation.
Okay, so you don't remember your mother. Then how about my mother, Julia? Now I know she was tough and mean, and so you never got along with her. And
No, I don't think anybody ever got along with her. And I don't think she ever cared either.
right.
Julia was a tough woman. She was strictly focused on money
Mm-hmm.
more than anything else. And she didn't really care about people.
Right.
She,
So did you have any fights with her or arguments?
oh,
Or
always. Yeah.
always? And what happened? Did you leave, or did she throw you out, or?
Well, eventually she threw us out, yeah.
Okay.
Then we got older and bigger and everything. And eventually we went, which I didn't care.
So who else lived in the house at the same time? Okay, so
Ramona did,
Bob,
and I'm not
come on in.
Yeah. How are you, Uncle Bill?
pretty good. What'd you do? Bring us potato chips?
Oh yeah, that's your favorite, isn't it?
Okay.
We noticed you had a bag of potato chips. And then we also brought you some apple juice
Oh, that's great.
and then some milk chocolate. This is kind of like for calories or milk chocolate for,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that will be good for you.
Mhm.
How are you, Jim? Are
Good.
you videotaping? Oh,
No, we've been talking about some of the old days in Wisconsin.
good.
And good stuff, bad stuff,
Yeah.
What's that, a Bible?
No, these are your photos Mom gave you. These are that photo
Oh, I see.
album.
Oh, these are the same ones I've seen.
Yeah. So,
Jim hasn't seen these.
I don't think he has.
Well, there's a hell of a lot of them in here.
Lots of memories in the old photos.
Oh, yeah.
So what are those photos of?
Oh, just a variety of things.
Oh yeah.
With Sally and Mom's 75th birthday, some of the old photos of the Grand Avenue home.
What is that booth all about?
Here, you wanna try one?
Is that chocolate?
It's chocolate, yeah.
Oh, good. I'll try one of those.
Okay.
But did you bring them any Mrs. Fields cookies?
No, I made them chocolate chip cookies. Those are probably even better. All right, I'm past it.
Are those supposed to be refrigerated?
Yeah, but I'm gonna unpack the top part here so
Okay.
you can get at them easier.
Well, we've been talking a lot about his life when he was younger and growing up and, you know, things of that sort.
Wonderful.
And, you know, just getting around to Dad and
Okay,
some of his peculiarities. And
okay. Here you go, Uncle Bill.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll put the cap over here. There we go.
It's good stuff.
yeah,
You
You
like
li-
it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna open these and then you can just get them out of the refrigerator when you get thirsty, okay?
okay. Anyway, so we were talking, I'm sorry, Sharon,
Go ahead.
we were talking then, you know, a little bit about Dad, drinking, tobacco and such. Yeah, my mom, and then, okay, so then Dorothy. You know, what do you remember about Dorothy?
Well, she was always kind of like the one in back that was reserved, putting up with George.
Well,
Which must have been a hell of a job.
when she got married, you were only 5, so she was out of the house then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't have a good marriage. I mean, George was not the type that should have ever gotten married in the first place.
Uh-huh. So, so she was married in 1940, and you were 5 at the time. And how did she meet George? Do you remember that?
Oh, I think she met him at one of those high school dances, or one of those dances they would have around Racine or around Elroy. You know, whenever they have a dance there, they have like X number of towns around there,
Yeah.
and they circulate the publication that they're having a dance, and everybody goes to it, you know. And
Okay.
that's how she met him.
Yeah. Did you and George get along?
I never liked George.
But did you get along?
Well, we never, you know, I just avoided him.
Okay.
Couldn't do much with him. And so I just avoided him. But I didn't really care for George.
Okay. Okay. And so now, was he working in the factories too?
He was for a while.
Okay.
Yep. Then he went to work for Dad.
Right.
And that suited his lifestyle.
It did. He also became big in the union, a union man. Yeah. So he liked that, but he drank hard too, didn't he? Okay.
I think George was a bigger drinker than Dad was.
And so, any distinct memory of George or Dorothy that you remember as you grew up?
Well, good memories of Dorothy, they abound, you know.
Yeah.
But not of George. I didn't like George.
Okay. Okay. So then, Carol. So, so you probably remember Carol a little more then, because you know, she's
Oh, yeah.
a little closer to your age. Hi.
Everything okay? You need something, William?
Do you need anything, Uncle Bill?
What do you want to know?
You want something?
You want a bottle of water or anything? Or?
No.
No, you okay?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, George was, he's always abusive.
Yeah.
You know, he got his kicks out of insulting him. I just didn't like him.
Like I said, my memories of him was was playing cards with her dad, Tom Peterson, Mike Schneider, and George and I, and we played cribbage together. And it often was Tom and I against Mike and George cheated like hell. You don't need the mask. I want to see your pretty face. Come on. Leave her down. Leave her down. We're amongst friends.
Okay.
Come on.
Another thing about George was, he never admitted cheating, never admitted anything.
You played cribbage, right?
What?
Did you play cribbage?
No.
Oh. When you played cribbage, you had to count your hand. You go 15-2, 15-4, 15-6, a pair is 8 and a straight run, and then before you could wait, he'd throw the cars into the pack and he'd take all the holes and wait, George. Oh, look who's here. Sharon's here, or Shu's here.
Hi there.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Uncle Bill. How are you?
Good.
Good. You look great.
Thank you. You want something to drink?
I just had something. Thank you. How's
Okay.
your boots? Did you like that?
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
And good news, I've had coffee already.
Okay. Yay for all of us.
Did you want this empty bottle?
Here, I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll put that in the garbage.
Yeah.
Well, I put the rest of it in your refrigerator. Because
Okay.
it's good when it's cold.
Yeah, so at any rate, it was, not a... Whatever happened to Jack?
He passed away. He had a heart attack. Yeah, very sudden. He was young.
I think he was like 50 years old. He was very young.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he
He was
was.
a great guy.
I remember camping with the family.
Did you do any trips with Tom and Ramona? No, just Ramona.
No,
Okay.
no, I never did, but Tom, I know, liked to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Liked to go on trips.
Did you visit him in Alaska? You and Mom, did you go up to Alaska while he was up there?
He did, but I
Okay.
didn't.
Oh, okay. You took a cruise with Sue to Alaska then, Sue and Mom.
Yeah,
Was that
I
it?
think we all took a cruise. Did you take a? You were up there with Kathy and her whole family with Katrina.
Oh, I always took cruises with him, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we all went up to Alaska together.
That was after.
Yeah, but that was,
It might have been after he passed.
that was a different story. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
you were on the cruise,
Yeah.
which I always enjoyed,
Mm-hmm.
and, I still enjoy that,
Yeah.
but, it just, it escapes me exactly what happened,
Mm-hmm.
because I was not too much into, let's go here, let's go there, let's see this, let's see that.
Yeah.
I was always like, oh well, see it once, you see it forever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mom liked to tour a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an hour in the day your mom's not got something going. Right?
Her calendar is pretty booked from sun up to sundown.
Old dance card.
Yeah. Like, every time I call Ramona, she's either at the bowling alley or playing cards,
Yeah.
bridge or poker, or visiting somewhere.
Yeah.
Ramona
Right.
gets so much out of life, it just amazes me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I wish I had her mentality, because it just seems like she's doing something all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and she's enjoying herself.
Yeah.
And, and I think to myself, God, that's got to be a wonderful mentality,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have it.
Don't you feel like you've had a pretty full dance card out here in your life in California? You have
To some degree, but,
Lots of social clubs. You had your
yeah,
tennis
but,
club.
yeah, to some degree I did, but, like Ramona, she was always the belle of the ball.
Yeah.
Any place she went, she
Mm-hmm.
was the belle of the ball. And everybody always knew her, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, so that's the way it was.
Were you at Ramona's wedding?
Did I go to whose wedding?
Ramona's wedding, Ramona and Tom's wedding, were you at that?
I think I did, yeah.
You were there. Yeah, I think I saw photos of you there. I think.
I think so.
I
Oh, yeah.
don't remember.
I think you share your love of chocolate with Ramona. Is that about right? Your mother's nuts
Oh,
on
yeah. Ice cream fudge sundae ice cream, isn't it? You like
I
ice
guess,
cream.
I don't know.
Sundaes? Yeah.
Now, didn't Ramona have? I always thought she had some regrets that she never moved to California. 'Cause
She wasn't she dating Jack Tucker?
Well, she always loved California.
Yeah.
She had that year on Long Beach.
Yeah, with
They had-
Mickey, and then
They had their apartment on Long Beach.
Jerry Bomblatt, I believe,
Yeah.
and then there's another lady,
Barbara Larson,
Barbara.
probably.
Barbara, yeah, Russell, yeah, Larson, yeah. They used to do tricks on my dad. They said if you ever see the shade down, that means we overslept with our
Yes.
alarm clock.
Oh well,
You need
Yeah.
the medication is for him?
Yes, if you,
Okay,
that's what
right
this is,
there.
right?
Uh-huh.
Thank you. This is current,
Yes.
and have they, deleted a
So,
couple meds, do you know, they
I
were?
remember they used to have a lot of parties at their apartment on Long Beach. Mom would say, you know, they pulled a trick on Dad where they kept the shade down when they were awake, but they thought to see if Tom was, checking on them to make sure, he was following, like if the shade was down, make us up.
John, can I call you back in a minute?
Dad did wake them up one day, but they were already awake, and they said, surprise, we're here. Yeah.
It's actually his old one, I think you have the current one in your chart, we just saw it in the,
Oh, how did you look it up?
are they going over medications? Okay.
Yeah, Jim, are you able to print photos off the computer that he has so he can look at them?
I can.
Okay, you probably take photos off the computer and you can see all the screens.
It has to do with lines of resolution
Yeah.
and the way it's being scanned. It's better off. That looks like it was maybe a computer screen or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we just kind of took a photo of the screen just because we tried to go to CBS to download some of them, but the cord would not recognize the machine or whatever.
I thought I left a little computer here. I don't know if it's in the
Yeah,
desk.
that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, we're trying to charge it.
There's like 700-800 photos there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, not all of them, but.
You've seen these, haven't you, Sean?
Huh? Have you seen these?
Have you
Yeah.
seen them?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, some of Sue's wedding.
I know you can come back.
Okay.
Almost all the men.
Okay.
All right, thanks, you're welcome.
So what year was it you said you moved out of Racine? About 1950 something?
Sorry, what?
When did you leave Racine? Moved out of Racine?
Oh, Racine, well, no, that was more like middle sixties.
Middle of the 60s. Okay.
Yeah, because
Was it before Dad died or after Dad? He died in 65.
after.
After he passed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they were paying all the expenses when I moved here.
Who was?
FM.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
And they paid for your move out to get out here. Right. Okay.
everything.
Okay. And you've been happy ever since.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to set up the computer because I want to look at a lot of these old photographs, and have you kind of look at them. 'Cause I think there might be a lot more memories in there. So I'm going to do that. Okay. Get that going. Yeah, we were just talking about Dad and then my mom and Dorothy and George. We were just getting so tell me all you can remember about Carol. So Carol was born what in
She's 100, so.
No, that's Dorothy.
Oh,
Carol was a
Carol.
little younger.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah, so Carol would be about 10 was about 10 years older than you, right?
Somewhere around there,
Okay.
yeah. And Carol was always good, you know, and everything, but she had a good marriage with Mike.
Mm-hmm.
She met a nice guy, and he was not a drinker. He was a very good family man. So she had a good marriage.
And he was in the army during the war, right? Where did Carol meet him? Was it the dances you said or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
VFW dances or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where she met him, but she met him at one of those places.
Okay. And Mike, you get along? He was a pretty good guy?
Oh, Mike was great. Yeah,
He was funny.
yeah, he was great. Yeah, he was a not only that, but he was wise to the eyes. You know, I mean, he had a lot of experience.
With what?
He had a lot of experience, life experience, and he knew how to handle people
Mm-hmm.
and knew how to get along. And I like Mike.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He was well liked by everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember my dad and I worked on their basement on South Street.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you know, so that was a project. Dad was semi-retired then, but they wanted a new basement, so with the paneling and the linoleum
Yeah.
floor, and
Yeah.
building a barn, so I helped
Yeah.
Dad with all of that, you know. I remember the slot machine.
Ah, I remember that. I was just gonna
Okay.
say that slot machine
Yeah,
there.
Mike had a slot machine, he kept a box over it, okay, because it was supposed to be illegal or something, you
Yeah.
know. And he always said that paid for his booze bill, you know,
Yeah.
there's people putting nickels in the slot machine.
I wonder whatever happened to it.
I don't
did
know, that
Ken-
would be a good question for,
Ken has it.
yeah, a good question for Brian
Yeah.
or you know, or,
I think it was an old mechanical machine.
it was an old,
Yeah.
it was an old mechanical, yeah, with the cherries and the fruit.
Yeah.
It's too bad he didn't keep it.
He may have, Kent might still
Somebody-
have it,
I'm
or,
sure somebody has it.
I bet Kent's got it somewhere.
That was a keeper.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, that's okay, then let's see, Bob, okay, you and Bob, you get along, did you play together much?
No,
or-
we never really got along very well.
Okay,
No, and so I kind of tended to avoid him, and didn't really care what he was doing. He was always off doing something, but I didn't know what he was doing. Just like today, same thing.
wasn't he in the Navy about the same time you were in the Army?
What didn't he what?
Wasn't he in the Navy about the same time you were in the Army?
Yep.
Okay,
But he was in for 4 years.
he was in for 4. And then
I was
when
in for 2.
and then when he came back, he went to the university as well, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he did because I never paid much attention to him because I didn't like him for one thing. And Bob was kind of a hard guy to get along with.
He was quiet. He was a quiet guy, very introspective.
But then when he said something, it was usually insulting. So sooner or later, you know, I just stopped talking to him.
Yeah.
And
You
I'd
girls
seen
got
something-
got questions. I'd love you to ask him questions about.
Okay.
I'd see him someplace and I wave at him, you know, that's about it.
Okay.
But I didn't really have much interpersonal relationship because we just didn't get along. You know, and then Bob always thought that, you know, he should be the king of the hill no matter what he did. And I didn't think he was really all that smart, but didn't care, I guess.
Who was the funniest of your sisters? Dorothy, Carol, or Mom? Ramona? Who had the sense of humor or
Well, I think the one I got along with best was Carol.
okay.
And Ramona I never got along with. We were too close,
Okay.
close in age.
Yeah.
And Dorothy I got along with well.
Okay.
But Ramona and I, we were fighting about something all the time.
Oh sure. That happens when you're young.
Sue and I used to fight a lot.
Yeah.
Well, your sisters.
Yeah.
That's required.
Well, when you're young, you know, there's kind of competition or whatever, or, you know.
Well, you know,
You and Mom got along great in later years. You did lots of traveling together,
oh yeah, we did.
good travel companions.
Well, I enjoyed that, and
Good.
you know, Dorothy was easy to get along with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she wasn't, you know, one of these people that was get hung up on every other little thing. You know?
Yeah.
So, who's older? Are you older or Ramona?
Mom
Mom's
is-
older.
Mom?
Mom is 33, Bill was born in 35.
Okay.
For 2 years.
And so, I mean, so you guys lived together, you know, as kids then, and Ramona, you got memories of Ramona, or like when she met Tom and you know stuff like that?
Well, I don't remember exactly the sequence of events, but
Anyway, did Ramona take care of you, or you were just always close? Or?
no, we were at one another's throats too often. No, we were competitors. We weren't friends.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how she met Tom?
It's high school, I guess.
I think so. I think that's what, I think my dad was friends with Bob, and then they kind of hung out in the same group, and
Same
then,
circle.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then he became friends with, my mom was friends with Jack, and
Yeah.
dad was friends with Jack,
Jack Tucker.
yeah.
Whatever happened to Jack?
He passed away, he had a heart attack. Yeah, very sudden, he was young,
I think he was like 50 years old. He was very young.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he
He was
was.
a great guy.
I remember camping with the family.
Did you do any trips with Tom and Ramona? No, just Ramona.
No, mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I never did. But Tom, I know, liked to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Liked to go on trips.
Did you visit him in Alaska? You and Mom, did you go up to Alaska while he was up there?
He did, but I
Okay.
didn't.
Oh, okay. You took a cruise with Sue to Alaska then, Sue and Mom.
Yeah,
Was
I
that it?
think we all took a cruise. Didn't you take you were up there with Kathy and her whole family with Katrina?
Oh, I always took cruises with him. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we all went up to Alaska together.
Mhm.
That was after.
Yeah, but that was
It might have been after he passed.
that was a different story. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
you know, you were on the cruise,
Yeah.
which I always enjoyed,
Mm-hmm.
and I still enjoy that.
Yeah.
But it just it escapes me exactly what happened,
Mm-hmm.
because I was not too much into let's go here, let's go there, let's see this, let's see that.
Yeah.
I was always like, oh well, you know, see it once, you see it forever, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mom likes to tour a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an hour in the day your mom's not got something going. Okay?
Her calendar is pretty booked from sun up to sundown.
Full dance card.
Yeah. Like, every time I call Ramona, she's either at the bowling alley or playing cards,
Yeah.
bridge, or poker, or you know, visiting somewhere.
Yeah.
Ramona
Right.
gets so much out of life, it just amazes me.
Yeah, isn't that?
I mean, I wish I had her mentality, because it just seems like she's doing something all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and she's enjoying herself.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think to myself, God, that's got to be a wonderful mentality,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I don't have it.
Don't you feel like you've had a pretty full dance card out here in your life in California?
Yeah,
have
to
lots
some
of-
degree, but
Lots of social clubs. You had your
yeah,
tennis
but
club.
yeah,
singles
to
club.
some degree I did, but
you know, like Ramona, she was always the belle of the ball.
Yeah.
Any place she went,
Mm-hmm.
she was the belle of the ball. And everybody always knew her too.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the way it was.
Were you at Ramona's wedding?
Did I go to whose wedding?
Ramona's wedding? Ramona and Tom's wedding? Were you at that?
I think I did, yeah.
I think you were there. Yeah, I think I saw photos of you there. I think.
I think so. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't remember.
I think you share your love of chocolate with Ramona. That about right? Your mother's nuts
Oh,
on
yeah. The ice cream fudge sundae ice cream, isn't it? You like
I
ice
guess,
cream?
I don't know.
Sundays? Yeah.
Now, didn't Ramona have? I always thought she had some regrets that she never moved to California. 'Cause
She wasn't she dating Jack Tucker?
Well, she always loved California.
Yeah.
She had that year on Long Beach.
Yeah, with
They had-
Mickey, and then
They had their apartment on Long Beach.
Jerry Bomblatt, I believe,
Yeah.
and then there was another lady,
Barbara Larson,
Barbara.
probably.
Barbara, yeah, Russell, yeah, Larson, yeah. They used to do tricks on my dad. They said if you ever see the shade down, that means we overslept with our
Yes.
alarm clock.
Hello.
You need
Yeah.
medicine?
Do I need what?
The medication is for him?
Yes, if you,
Okay,
that's
right
what this is,
there.
right? Thank you. And this is current?
Yes.
And have they, deleted a
So,
couple meds, do you know? They
I
were,
remember they used to have a lot of parties at their apartment on Long Beach.
Which
Mom
one do
would
you know?
say,
I think
you
so.
know, that,
no.
they pulled a trick on Dad where they
That's
kept
the
the
one that
shade
we
down
have,
and they were awake, but
That's the
they
one that
thought
we
to
have.
see if Tom was, you know, checking on them to make sure, you know, he was following, like if the shade was down, make us up.
John, can I call you back in a minute?
Dad did wake them up one day, but they were already awake
Okay,
and they said,
thanks.
surprise, we're here.
This is for us, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually his old one. I think you have the current one in
Oh,
your,
okay.
in your chart. We just saw it in the,
Oh,
we probably can take it out.
Are they going over medications? Okay.
Yeah, Jim, are you able to print photos off the computer that he has so he can like look at them?
I can.
Okay.
Sure.
You try to take photos off the computer and you can see all the screens.
It has to do with lines of resolution
Yeah.
and the way it's being scanned. It's better off. That looks like it was maybe a computer screen or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we just kind of took a photo of the screen just because we tried to go to CBS to download some of them, but the cord would not recognize the machine or whatever.
I thought I left a little computer here. I don't know if it's in the desk.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, we're trying to charge it.
There's like 700-800 photos there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You
Well, not
see-
all
I
of
see
them,
it right now.
You've seen these, haven't you, Sharon?
That's what I'm
Huh?
watching.
but have you seen these?
Have you seen them?
This one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some of Sue's wedding.
I know you pay for those.
Okay.
Almost all the men.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Rosie. You're welcome.
So what year was it you said you moved out of Racine? About 1950 something?
Like what?
When did you leave Racine? Moved out of Racine?
Oh, Racine, well, no, that was more like middle of 60.
Middle of the 60s. Okay.
Yeah, because I
Was it before Dad died or after Dad? He died in
was
65.
after.
After he passed. Okay.
Yeah. Because they were paying all the expenses when I moved here.
Who was?
FM.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
And they paid for your move out to get out here. Right. Okay.
everything.
Yeah, he lives on,
Okay.
so he came down here for.
And you've been happy ever since.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to set up the computer because I want to look at a lot of these old photographs, you know, and have you kind of look at them because I think it might be a lot more memories in there. So I'm going to do that. Okay.